In this video, I'm going to go through how you can complete your Engineered Systems design folio for Year 8 Technology Mandatory. So the first thing is that we've provided in Google Classroom a scaffold, and the first page of that document has a title page. Now you can replace that title page, and better students will replace that title page with a picture of their own bridge. But in the meantime, what's really important is you must include your name, the name of every person in your group, and the teacher for your group. So what you need to do is you need to double click on this text box here, and you need to replace this with and my name is Mr. Punset. So hit save and close, and that way people will know who this is for. Okay, so on the next page we have the design criteria. So we have the design situation, which is why we're doing this, and then we have the design brief, which is what we're going to do, and then we have a criteria for success, which is how we know if our project is if it met the goals that we set for it. So what are the goals for our project? Now what we've done here is we've provided you with the goals for this project. We just want you to identify them. So what we want you to do is we want you to say, well, the span, that's part of dimensions. And no one should be injured when making or testing this bridge. That's safety. I was hoping that'd be nice and bright red, but and the bridge should be made with A4 pieces of paper. That's materials. You may or may not use masking tape. Materials. Okay, so that's what we want you to do there. Not very much. We just want you to fill in those three text boxes. Aesthetics is a word that we're going to look up in research, and we'll move on to that for a second, but we want your bridge to look good. And when people design bridges these days, they want them to look good. Okay, so with research, we have a little bit of description about engineers, and what we then have is two parts for research. We have some extension work, so not everyone needs to do this. You only do this if you want to get extra marks for this project. Only if the students, the top students, will do this extra work. But what we have as a question is, what is an engineer, and what's the difference between an engineer and a scientist? And for both of those things, we have links. We have a YouTube video, and we have a link here to explain those and to help you with that. We then have describe 4 different kinds of engineers, and we have 2 different videos there to talk about what are the different kinds of engineers. And then we have explained the importance of 4 different engineering innovations. So everything from the telephone to different kinds of bridge designs to things like prosthetic arms for biomedical engineering. They're all listed in that video, and you can just pick 4 of those innovations. Okay, but moving back to everyone needs to answer this question, which is, in your own words, what is a bridge? Everybody needs to do that. And I don't think that's too difficult. Just talk amongst your group and come up with what you think a bridge is. You, of course, can look up on the internet a definition. Okay, so why do we build bridges? Well, in the other video that partners with this, I talk about some of the reasons why we build bridges. And then we have the question, define aesthetics. Now you can look up on the internet, you can Google what the word aesthetics means. And then we want you to consider, why do engineers care about aesthetics? Why do people care about bridges being aesthetically pleasing? And then we have, what are some different types of engineering designs? And that goes on to this next page. So what we want you to do in this page is we've given you 5 different bridge designs, and what we want you to do is to figure out which ones these are. Now again, they come from the video that partners this one, has some descriptions for these different kinds of bridges. They explain them a little bit. What we want you to do is we want you to come up with an example or a picture that matches. So you could write cable stayed, and you could write, well, this is the Anzac Bridge, this is Tom Ugley's bridge, and you could find some other bridges that meet these criteria based on the video or on your own research. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next section of design solutions. We want you to provide 3 sketches of your design solutions. Now, you can just draw this with a pencil on a piece of paper like we have here. and we've labeled those drawings design 1, 2, and 3. And then in the table below, what we want you to do is we want you to say what is good about that design, what is bad about that design. If there's anything you want to say that's neither good or bad, something that's in between, something which you think is interesting, you can put that in the table as well. And then finally, most importantly, we want you to give an evaluation. So you could give a star rating. You could say, I think this design is a 1 out of 5, and this one's a 4 out of 5, and this one's a 5 out of 5. Your evaluation should say which design you like the best, and it might say something like, I really like this design, but I think it's going to be too difficult and we're not going to be able to finish it in the time that we have available to us. Okay, then we want a photo of your finished design and ideally being tested. So he can see this is the bridge that I built, and there's a can there that it's showing that the bridge is strong enough to hold the can. And then you have to answer what is the mass of your bridge. So the mass is a more precise physics term for how many kilograms or how many grams your bridge measures on a scale. So this should be probably a measurement in grams, because your bridge is not going to be more than 1,000 grams. And so you just write that down. Year 10 students will help you measure that we've got scales for you to help you measure that. And then finally, we have 7 questions that we want you to answer at the end of your project. We want you to say what went well, what didn't go well, what was challenging, what helped you, what was surprising, what would you do if you were going to do this project again, what would you do differently, and then what did you enjoy most about today. Okay, well, hopefully that should help you to complete your folio, and I hope that you have a great day.